Why, hello. So I thought it'd be fun to do some gear videos. So I thought I would start with trekking poles. Trekking poles are great. I use them every time. I don't know how I ever got along without trekking poles. You see some people without them, and I don't know how they do it. Must have really strong knees for one thing. I use them all the time going downhill. If you have older knees, you appreciate poles. So the way I use them is I put both of them in my palms, and if there's a big rock or a ledge or a big step, I'll put them down below the step and then bear my weight on them. So you're bearing all your weight over a rock, so you want them to not slip. That's an important thing in a pole, that they don't slip. So with the other poles that were the twist grips, there were a couple times where they gave about an inch, but they never just fully collapsed, thank God. If I'm carrying a backpack that's got any kind of load, boy, that really helps going downhill. So the ones I use are Komperdell, and they're what's called a camera staff. I've never seen anybody else use these. I'm the only one. So they call it a staff because it can expand out to a really long length, so that's how high it can go. They call it a camera staff because it's got like a little, I think it's a 1/4 inch bulb here in the top that you can put your camera on, and then you can kind of take, if it's got a long lens, you can be much more steady. I've never used it once with my camera, so I've got an iPhone, so that really wouldn't be much good. But I can see if you had an SLR with a long telephoto lens, that would work. So I'm on my 3rd pair of these. I must like them. So I've got at least 2,000 miles on using these poles. So starting out at the tip, boy, they make some really hard tips. I mean, I've seen other people's tips like go dull in maybe 100 miles or 200 miles. I think I had 1,000 miles on the last pair before they broke off, and the tip was still sharp. So I don't know what they do. It's an Austrian company, so they must do something really tough to those tips. I use summer baskets on them. They're like 0.5 ounces for the pair. If I ever go across a snowfield, it's just such a wonderful thing to have because your pole doesn't just sink down to the bottom. And if your pole does sink down to the bottom and you post hole, you're going to snap your pole. These aren't cheap, so I tend not to want to do that. But if you know you're not going to have any snowfields, then you don't need the basket and can save 1/2 ounce. One thing I don't have on, I don't have the strap. Some people like the strap, some people don't. I don't care for the strap. I never use it. When I'm up and down hills, my hand is all over the place, and it wouldn't work for me. The only time I drop them is if I try to just lean them against a tree, and they tip over. So I don't really have that kind of need. The bottoms are made of aluminum, which I like that better because they're more prone to bend, not break. I can get back with a bent one, but it's tough to get back with a broken one. The top's made out of carbon fiber and super light. I thought, in my Graham Weenie stage, I was going to take and cut off, the tube, or say like, so there's that much tube inside of here. So I thought, well, I'll cut it down to here. But when I cut it off, man, it just weighs like 0.1 ounce. If it's that, it's like air. So I don't know that I save that much, and it's probably a little bit stronger if you leave that staff part in there. I've got like 1,000 miles on this grip, and it's still, really good. They must do something to it. It's soft. You'd think you would wear a hole through it, but not done that yet. And with these grips, I've never gotten a blister once, not in all the miles I've hiked with them. And so that says something for it. I like the other poles, but they don't have this ball. So if they come out with a ball, maybe I would try theirs out too. I don't know. The last pair of poles I had before these were the same type, but they had a twist grip. And I would recommend, if you have a twist grip, to maybe sell those or give those away. And these just lever locks are so much better in that they don't move. With the twist grip, I would start off at a certain length at just 8 o'clock in the morning, and by 5 o'clock they were like 1.5 inches shorter. So during the day they would just kind of shrink and shrink and shrink, which is no big deal, but except I put a lot of weight on these when I go downhill. I'm putting my entire weight like to go down a big rock or that kind of thing, and I don't want it slipping. That would be a major crash, and you don't want to do that with a backpack on you as you try to just face plant. So that would not be good. So these balls have 1,000 miles on them and they're still going strong. So I have 2 pairs. It's always good to have an extra pair of poles. You're going to break them, you're going to snap them, you're going to lose one. and you got a backup. The odds of there being a Komperdell camera staff somewhere in the boondocks is pretty small, and not all companies carry them during the summer. So good idea is if you're going to buy, well, any camping stuff, buy it in October, November, December when all the camping companies are desperate to make sales. So I think I got these new pair off. I think I bought them from Camp Safer, and they were like half price. So that's a good deal. So this is an old pair. So I put my iPhone camera on it. So if I want to take a shot, I put my camera on it. I put my iPhone in there, and then I just kind of put it out here and talking to the camera. I see people doing it arm's length too, but it always seems kind of jerky and you're way too close. I just like it better to do that way. This is a two-part thing. One is a kind of a rubberized GoPro bar grip, and one is a I'll put links below for these two things and the pole itself. So when I'm done doing my shot, then I fold this back down and I keep it out to the side so I don't catch it on my clothes. So I always hike with it in this one spot. And you'd think the grip would be worn off where my thumb is always writing, but no. The weight of these poles is about 9 ounces, so pretty light. I think the just carbon corks are about 8.5, something like that. And Gossamer Gear has pure carbon, non-collapsible poles that are like 4 ounces, 4 to 5 ounces. I'd snap those off, and I'd be mad too. So I don't really want to do that. So I'm going to stick with this kind of stuff where I can bring it down to a shorter length. I also use these to pitch up in my Z-Packs duplex tent. So they're the perfect length as I walk with them. I don't have to adjust them or anything. I just put them at the same length that I hike with. So that's my review of the Komperdell camera staff, carbon fiber trekking pole, and I hope you liked it, and we'll see you later.